This is a really exciting growth opportunity. Translation, your title stays exactly where it is, your salary remains emotionally unavailable, your deadlines continue arriving on schedule, and 4 people now need your leadership without actually reporting to you. Congratulations, you have been promoted to folding chair.
Wait, is there an actual chair involved?
There is always a chair. It is usually presented as a ladder. It looks sturdy during the motivational conversation, right up until you ask who can approve the budget, which deadline moves, or what happens after you successfully do the extra job.
And then the ladder folds in half while everyone says you're doing such a great job taking initiative.
Exactly. So before an exciting opportunity becomes a permanent second job with inspirational lighting, we're going to ask what it actually contains. Not because every offer is dishonest, because ambition deserves more detail than a smile and the phrase future visibility.
Check your pulse. Check your badge. If they're both still beating, you've made it through another Tuesday. Welcome to Where the Rubber Meets the Road. I'm the survivor, your co-host, and former collector of responsibilities that were described as temporary.
And I'm Dr. Disruptor. I'll give you back 10 minutes of your life you'll never get back, starting with the phrase that makes every folding chair unfold. We see you growing into this.
The following program contains traces of honesty and high-level sarcasm. It is not intended as legal or professional advice. If you find yourself nodding too hard, please consult your work-life balance manual, provided you can locate it beneath the unread emails.
Let's start with the generous interpretation. Sometimes a growth opportunity is exactly what it claims to be. You learn a skill, lead a project, meet people who can teach you something, and gain experience that makes your next move easier. That is real growth. It may be uncomfortable, but the discomfort has a destination.
Right. The problem is not effort. The problem is fog. When the responsibility is specific, but the support is mysterious. The deadline is real, but the recognition is theoretical. And the promised review date lives somewhere beyond the horizon. A promising path starts looking like a hallway with no exit.
Take visibility. It can mean senior leaders will see a meaningful result and understand your contribution. Excellent. Or it can mean you attend a meeting called Executive Transformation Priorities, take notes, produce the follow-up deck, and discover that your name has become decorative.
So ask, visibility with whom, through what deliverable, and how will my contribution be represented? If there is a sponsor who will explain what you did, that may be valuable. If you are simply added to a distribution list, that is not visibility. That is an inbox with a title.
Then we have the stretch assignment. A healthy stretch asks you to use a new skill with coaching, context, and enough room to learn. An unhealthy stretch asks you to perform an entirely different job by Friday and calls your confusion a growth mindset.
What if the manager says, you'll figure it out as you go?
Then ask whether go includes a map, a person to call, and permission to make a reasonable mistake. Learning requires bounded risk. If failure means you are blamed for not already knowing the thing you were assigned to learn, that is not a stretch. That is a cliff wearing a motivational hoodie.
I have worn the hoodie. It had wearing many hats printed on the sleeve.
One hat can be enriching. 3 hats might build range. At 12 hats, you are no longer a versatile professional. You are a small department in a trench coat, and somebody is still asking why the newsletter is late.
And we're investing in you deserves a question, not an automatic eye roll. Investment can mean training, mentorship, protected time, feedback, or access to a project that teaches you something substantial. The important part is that investment should be observable.
I'm not sure I buy the idea that compensation needs to be part of every growth conversation. Some opportunities are worth taking before the reward is immediate.
I agree that compensation is not the only reward, but the exchange has to be visible. If someone gains skills, access, confidence, and a credible next step, that can matter enormously. If the organization gains extra output while the employee receives one motivational sentence and a new recurring meeting, the exchange is not development. It's a transfer.
Fair correction. Growth does not have to arrive with a raise on day one, but it should arrive with infrastructure. Otherwise, that's not a strategy. That's just a PowerPoint with a dream.
The infrastructure can be tested with 3 questions. Let's use a real example instead of presenting them like a laminated seminar handout.
Good. Imagine your manager says, "I'd love for you to lead the client transition project. It will give you tremendous visibility." You say, "I'm interested. What decisions would I own?" The manager replies, "You'll coordinate the work, but finance approves the budget and operations sets the timeline."
So you own the outcome, but not the money or the schedule.
Exactly. You are accountable for the car, but someone else keeps the keys. That is the authority question. What can you decide? Who must approve it? Can you set priorities, assign resources, and change the process? Or are you simply carrying responsibility without the steering wheel?
And then comes the question people are often afraid to ask. Which of my current priorities should move? Not, how can I squeeze this into my evenings? What comes off the plate during normal working time?
The manager says, "Let's see how it goes for the first month." That phrase has launched many a permanent second job.
I'm asking for a review date before the first month begins. If the assignment is temporary, it needs an end date, a replacement plan, or at least a scheduled decision about what happens next. Temporary is a calendar word. Without a date, it may just be permanent responsibility with excellent branding.
That brings us to the result. People will see you as a leader is pleasant but slippery. Deliver the pilot by September, present the findings to operations, and review role scope afterward is a bridge. It tells you what good looks like and where the experience might lead.
Authority. What can I decide? Subtraction. What existing work moves, pauses, or disappears? Outcome. What concrete result earns recognition, a role conversation, expanded scope, compensation, or the next assignment?
Those questions are not a courtroom interrogation. They're how you turn encouragement into a workable plan. Try, "I'm interested. Could we clarify the decisions I would own, the priorities we would adjust, and how we'll evaluate the result?" Collaborative language, clear boundaries, no dramatic music.
And if the offer involves a skill you genuinely want, ask, who will coach me? What support is available? And what does good performance look like? For visibility, who needs to see the result? And how will my contribution be recognized? For many hats, which hat is the priority? And which one comes off when the workload peaks?
And when someone says, "We're investing in you," ask, what would that investment look like in practice? Watch the room. If the investment is real, there will be nouns, a mentor, a course, protected time, a sponsor, a review date. If it is vapor, there will be more adjectives.
That's it? No 12-page strategy document?
No 12-page strategy document. We're moving at the speed of all hands, which is to say, we're standing perfectly still. A short follow-up is enough to keep the conversation from dissolving into motivational mist.
You could write, "Thanks for discussing the project. My understanding is that I'll lead the pilot through September, with decision authority over the workflow and support from the operations team. We'll pause the monthly reporting cycle to make room, and we'll review results and next steps on September 15th.
That email is doing quiet work. It names the assignment, the support, the trade-off, and the date. It does not accuse anyone of bad motives. It simply gives the promise a calendar and asks the calendar to remember.
Exactly. You are not saying, "I distrust you." You are saying, "I would like our shared understanding to survive contact with Tuesday."
Now let's talk about the reliable person. Someone needs temporary coverage and you say yes because the team needs help. Someone needs a meeting facilitated and you say yes because you know the material. Someone needs a process documented, a new hire supported, and a problem quietly prevented.
And suddenly your temporary favor has a recurring calendar invite.
In the original conversation, you were covering for 2 weeks. By week 6, you are running a standing meeting, answering questions from 3 teams, and training the person who was supposedly going to replace you. When you mention the end date, someone says, "Let's keep the momentum going."
Momentum, in this case, is a bicycle with no brakes.
That is why temporary needs a date. It also needs a person responsible for ending it. Otherwise, the work becomes evidence that you can handle more work, rather than evidence that the organization should resource the work properly.
If the opportunity is not workable, there are two honorable paths. The soft no. I'm not able to take this on within my current commitments, and I don't want to promise work I can't do well. That is a boundary, not a confession.
And the conditional yes. I'm interested, provided we move the client analysis to next month and set a review date for the expanded responsibility. You are not rejecting ambition. You are naming the price of capacity.
Every yes spends something: time, attention, recovery, or another commitment. A mature workplace conversation identifies what gets spent before the bill arrives.
And real growth has fingerprints. There is a skill you can name. There is feedback from someone who understands the work. There is access to information, decisions, or relationships you did not have before. There is a reasonable level of risk, and there is reciprocal investment.
It also leaves you more capable, not merely more exhausted. You may be tired after learning something difficult. That is normal. But you should be able to say what you learned, who helped you, what success looked like, and where the experience can take you next.
So do not automatically accept every growth opportunity, and do not automatically reject everyone. Pause. Get curious. Ask what authority comes with it. What work comes off your existing plate? And what concrete outcome marks the next step?
I'll give you back 10 minutes of your life you'll never get back, along with 3 questions worth keeping near your calendar. What can I decide? What moves off my plate? What result changes my future? If the answers are clear, climb carefully. If the answers are fog, admire the folding chair from a safe distance.
Well, we've reached our hard stop for the day. If you are sitting in your car staring at the steering wheel, we see you. If you are taking 5 quiet minutes before walking back into the building, take them. You are allowed to have a life outside the next deliverable.
Visit the show site for the episode takeaway, the 3-part growth audit, and the practical scripts for clarifying authority, workload trade-offs, support, and next steps. Print them, save them, or keep them beside the calendar invite that claims to be temporary.
May your coffee be stronger than your mission statement, and may your next opportunity come with a map, a sponsor, and enough room to sit down.
Let's circle back. Never.
Where the Rubber Meets the Road is produced by your name. Special thanks to the Chief Cynicism Officer for not crashing our servers today. If you enjoyed this episode, visit the show site and share the takeaway with someone navigating a very exciting amount of additional work.